Hi, hope having a great day. You're watching JUG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm going over Avatar's The Way of the Water's second weekend drop, as well as the way that it crossed $1 billion, and what's next after now that it crossed $1 billion. Is $2 billion in the way, or what else is next after this? I'm going to be going over all that in this video. It's going to be a really interesting breakdown. I have a whole list of more notes that's like 3 pages long, so it's going to be really interesting. I'm really going to analyze everything. So yeah, just enjoy the video, especially if you love doing analysis of box office. This video is going to be great for you. So yeah, let's get started. And start off, we're going to go over the domestic second weekend. In this second weekend, it made $64 million for the 3-day weekend, which was just a 52.8 drop. This is really strong, especially for blockbusters nowadays. This is very rare. I mean, all the Marvel movies have dropped over 60%, including No Way Home, and in the high 60s too. And most of the other blockbusters have also dropped massively. However, it was not as good as Batman earlier this year, which had the exact same opening weekend as Avatar: The Way of Water. However, Batman hold a little bit stronger with that exact same opening. So that's interesting that Batman was able to hold a little bit better. I wonder what exactly that could mean, because this movie did have a boost thanks to the Christmas thing. But it's fine, because thanks to the Christmas thing, we had a holiday this past Monday. And thanks to that, it made $95.6 million for its 4-day weekend, which is really awesome. This means that it did $32.3 million on Monday alone, which was a huge boost for this movie. Like, it really helped out the movie a lot. That was an amazing boost. And it was really like a Christmas gift for the movie, because it really did awesome for it. Now, this puts it as the 7th highest grossing Monday ever. I mean, ever. That's insane. Almost equaling Rogue One's Monday with the same release strategy all the way back in 2016, which was the last time that we had a holiday for Monday, thanks to Christmas. So that's really interesting. It just almost equaled Rogue One, which is insane, and is the 7th highest grossing Monday of all time. Really insane. Plus, this past Tuesday, it made $24.1 million, and this Wednesday, since I'm recording this video on Thursday in the morning, on Wednesday it did $20.4 million. So that's really awesome. In fact, this is the 3rd highest second Wednesday ever, and the biggest Wednesday of this year. So that's just insane. That's really insane. You're starting to see how this movie is doing some really strong dailies, which is very rare. We never really see the strong dailies, but thanks to the winter break that all the kids are having, and kind of just like the holiday season, it's doing really well box office wise on dailies. And it's always happens with movies, but Avatar is really getting that traction. Avatar and Puss in Boots are really getting some huge boost thanks to this holiday weekend, and this holiday is just winter break, because families are all available and they're really going to the movie theater to see this movie. This means that the domestic total now stands at $337.8 million, which is really strong. It's not going to be as strong as you say Top Gun Maverick, which Top Gun Maverick be like 600 million or something like that. So that was really strong. Top Gun Maverick did so much money domestically, and so it's not as strong as that, and it still hasn't been in Wakanda Forever, which is going to end up between 480 something like that. Right now it's standing at like 430 or something like that. So it still hasn't been in that yet, but it will definitely be Wakanda Forever. It will not be Top Gun Maverick. The estimated domestic total whenever the movie ends its domestic box office run, the estimation right now is between $520 to $580 million, which is a really strong estimation. This is a really huge number, but it's not as huge as Top Gun Maverick this year, which is insane. So that means Top Gun Maverick will remain king of 2022's box office domestically, which is pretty awesome. But this is no knock on Avatar 2. Avatar: The Way of Water still did a lot of money domestically, like really strong. As like I'm saying, it's even gonna be Wakanda Forever and all type of stuff. So it's really strong domestically, just not as strong as Top Gun Maverick. And it really shows that most of the franchise power truly comes internationally. So now let's go into the international box office to show you how strong it really was. And this past weekend, it had $168.6 million. This past weekend, which is insane. And China, in fact, only dropped 55%, adding $25.9 million, which means that the Chinese total now stands at $116 million. Now, this isn't super strong. In fact, it's kind of weak, but that's only because the COVID thing that's going out there in China, it's like really bad. It's a really bad situation going on in China right now. So I'm surprised that it's actually doing this much money. Actually, it's really interesting, and it still stands at the second biggest market beyond the domestic market, which is pretty interesting. And also, it's doing a lot stronger than any other movie has during this year in the Chinese box office. Like a lot stronger. So that means that the Chinese audience is still captured by Avatar: The Way of Water. And I think that if maybe like next the Avatar 3, the Chinese audiences go crazy over it once the situation is settled and there's not this whole COVID outbreak going on over there. Now, this means that international total box office right now currently stands at $762.8 million, which is huge. That's a huge international box office, really, really huge. And it really shows you that this movie is really more one-sided to the international box office, because that's a lot of money. Now, right here to my side are the top markets, with France and Korea performing extra strong. As you can see, they're right behind China, and they're really, really strong. Usually, you never see this type of box office performances from France and Korea, so the fact that this strong is actually pretty awesome. However, Mexico performs weak for this movie, as it rallies behind Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is interesting. So for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Mexico is actually performing really, really strong, but it definitely seems to be hurting Avatar's box office there, as the movie is not performing nowhere near as strong as it should in Mexico. So that's just really interesting to just see like the different cultures and how they affect the different box offices. Really, really interesting, and I think that's pretty awesome. But you can see how the other countries performing extra strong, which kind of equals whatever Mexico wasn't giving for this movie. So overall, the box office is just really awesome for this movie, especially internationally. So let's just go over its overall box office, the worldwide box office. And the worldwide box office right now stands at $1.1 billion. That means it has officially crossed the billion mark. In fact, it crossed it yesterday, meaning that the movie crossed the $1 billion mark in 14 days. It took 14 days to reach the $1 billion mark, which is awesome. That's super, super awesome, and it is super incredible. Why? Well, for starters, it's only the third movie of 2022 to reach $1 billion. With Top Gun Maverick, which took 31 days, well, this one did it in 14, so it cut that by half, and Jurassic World Dominion, which took more than 4 months to get there. So you can definitely see that this movie did it extremely fast, and it's kind of crazy. It did not beat No Way Home, though. No Way Home did it in 12 days, so that just goes to show you how No Way Home is still like a bigger movie, I think, and that why I don't think this movie is going to equal No Way Home's box office, but it's still really insane that the fact that this movie was able to do it in 14 days. This means that this is the second biggest movie of 22 so far, only behind Top Gun Maverick, and it will definitely beat that. I'm going to go over that in a little bit. And it's the third biggest of the pandemic ever, just behind No Way Home and Top Gun Maverick once again. And it's the sixth fastest movie ever to reach $1 billion, which is just insane. The sixth fastest ever of all time, not just post-pandemic, no, of all time. Really showing the power of the franchise and the power of the director, which I did not think personally that this movie was going to perform that well. Personally, I thought it was going to perform maybe like a max at $1.5 billion, but that's not the case. It definitely seems like it's going to go higher than that, which is insane. So that's pretty interesting. Now, what's next for this movie? What's next after it has already crossed $1 billion? It already reached $1.1 billion. What's next for this movie? Well, currently it's tracking to pass $1.4 billion on Monday. So that's great. That means like right after New Year's, you're gonna see, and Monday's of course a holiday, so it's gonna reach $1.4 billion, which is great. Then it's gonna reach $1.5 billion between January 6th to January 8th, which would also be really awesome. Like crossing $1.5 billion is pretty awesome, and the movie is definitely tracking to cross past $1.7 billion when it's done. So that means that the movie will definitely cross $1.7 billion, which is just insane. Like I said, my early estimation that was like super high up out there, I thought it was 1.5 billion. I thought this movie had a chance to reach 1.5 billion. As you can see, it's at least going to cross 1.7 billion, which is insane. That means that the estimated total gross for this movie right now stands between 1.7 billion and 1.9 billion. So that's really awesome, becoming the biggest movie of the year without a doubt. Definitely beating Top Gun Maverick by a good margin, like really good margin, and it will be right behind No Way Home, because No Way Home almost reached 2 billion. It was like at 1.9 something billion. I don't think it's gonna be No Way Home, just because we already saw like the records, and No Way Home beat a billion faster and everything. And I do think No Way Home had a little bit of word of mouth and a little bit more hype. So I do think that No Way Home is still safe. I don't think it's going to beat it. There is a chance that it might beat it, just because Avatar: The Way of Water does have China, which it's a huge market. As you can see, it already added over $100 billion. So $100 billion can definitely make a difference between whether it beats No Way Home or if it doesn't. However, I still don't see it happening, and I still don't see it crossing $2 billion yet, as it's not in the estimation range right now. So it does not seem like it's going to cross $2 billion or No Way Home, but it's definitely going to come really close. And there is a chance that it might do it if it keeps overperforming. We will see. There is a chance, but as of right now, I don't think it's going to do it. But that doesn't matter. I think this movie is still a huge hit, and it definitely proved really strong for this franchise. Now, the budget for this movie right now stands at 350 to 460 million. I've heard different like numbers all over the place. Deadline I think said a certain number, and then Variety said a different number, and so on. So I kind of just made like a range of it, and I think it's gonna stand somewhere in between the range because you had the money that it took to make the movie, and then you had the money that it took to advertise the movie, which usually doubles your budget. So I would go higher, like towards that 460 million. I think that was more accurate, and even with that, that means that the movie has already broken profit or broken even, which is great, meaning that anything that comes afterwards is basically just profit for Disney, which is just super, super awesome. So, like I said, this looks really well for the Avatar franchise, and it definitely seems like we will be getting those 5 Avatar movies, which is crazy. I mean, we already know that the Avatar 3 is already fully filmed, which is insane. And in fact, I heard like a rumor that, well, I'm sure you've seen it online, where James Cameron has like a 9-hour cut of that movie. That seems really insane. And then they already filmed the first act of Avatar 4. So you can definitely see that they already kind of built the siege just in case it was going to be successful. And even James Cameron said that he will only keep going if it proves to be successful. If not, he will end it at 3 and then he'll just stop and do something else. But thanks to the success, I think that James Cameron will continue and he will go up to 5. I think 5 is going to be the list. I think he has plans for other things, but I think we shouldn't be getting too ahead of ourselves. I think greenlight the third one. It's already filmed and everything. Make it, release it, and I think you should greenlight the fourth one and the fifth one as it's already all planned out. And then once the fifth one happens, and we'll see how the box office goes from 4 and 5, and then we'll see if we can get more movies of Avatar. But yeah, it's definitely a strong, strong franchise, and it's insane that after all these years, Avatar's proven to be super, super strong. Wow, I cannot believe how strong this movie is doing box office wise. So yeah, that's my box office breakdown, including how all the records that it broke, reaching $1 billion, as you can see, it was super strong. And all the records that it's still breaking daily, as you can see by the Wednesday and the Monday that it has had, just crazy Wednesdays and Mondays that it's having. Plus also just what's next for the movie, like where it's going to get, what's the total estimated gross and all that type of stuff, and what's next for the franchise. So yeah, that's all I got for you in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, then please, please, please leave a like. It would really help with the video. So please leave a like. It took a while to put this analysis together. So you leave a like, it would really help out the video. So please and thank you. As well as tell me down in the comments, what do you think about this movie? Do you think it's going to reach $2 billion? Do you think it's going to beat No Way Home? And what do you think about the box office in general? Do you think it's really strong? Do you think that they're going to do past Avatar 5? I'm very curious. Tell me all thoughts down in the comments. I'm really, really curious. And lastly, just make sure to subscribe for a lot more content like this, going over box office breakdowns, all type of stuff. I did one on Puss in the Boots and so on. So just subscribe for all the content that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and this is J Entertainment out.